On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, the Sooners add another offensive lineman out of the portal. Then in football, guys talking basketball, we talk some Sooners and Thunder, and we finish up with our winners and losers of the week. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Thursday, February 1st, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options in the month of February, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Now, we're recording this late Wednesday night. This is old school, Ted. This is what we used to do back in the day.
I know. Feels kind of good. Feels kind of good, like we're up breaking the rules or something, right? Up past bedtime.
Look at us staying up late, breaking the rules. Yeah, I got back from vacation feeling good, man. Excited to catch up on a lot of OU stuff and OU basketball. There's a lot to talk about, as always. Now, before we get going, if you would like to sponsor the podcast, if your business would like to sponsor the podcast, you can email us at theoklahomabreakdown@gmail.com, and we will get all of those details to you. Onto the OU football stuff. The transfer portal giveth and it taketh. And the Sooners have added another transfer offensive lineman, Geirean Hatchett, which awesome football name, Hatchett.
It is.
He's coming to Oklahoma, played in 12 games, started 4 for Washington in what was a really special season for them that led to them playing in the national title game. 6'4", 303 pounds. Ted, they're just loading up on the portal O lineman. Just get a bunch of them and see if any of these guys can play, I suppose.
Yeah, he's got some good experience, played a lot of football for Washington. First thing I thought of is, can this guy snap the football? Being an interior guy, I mean, that's going to be one of the spots that, you got Troy Everett there and everything, but those interior spots, there's going to be pretty good competition to try and sort all that out. I mean, obviously all 5 spots there's going to be competition, but the interior, I really got my eye on that. It's going to be fun.
So I inquired about Hatchett's ability to snap the ball and was told that he can play all 3 interior positions, because I had a similar thought to you, especially I saw the size, then I went and watched the tape. So if you're wondering, hey, what was the first thing you did when you got back from vacation? The answer is watch Geirean Hatchett tape at Washington. Walked in my house, grabbed the iPad, and we were rolling. Some notes. Plays with urgency. Like that a lot. Quick feet. Plays with his cleats in the ground. Also very positive. I think he's a better run blocker than he is a pass protector at this point in time. He oversets at times, but shows the ability to recover when he does. I did see several snaps against Oregon where he struggled with the size and the power that some of their interior guys have. And I think that has a little bit to do with, he's playing offensive guard at 300 pounds. And when you're playing big, strong, heavy D linemen, it's just really hard to hold up down in and down out at that weight. He needs to gain some weight. I know that'll be the first thing that Bedenbaugh probably tells him. Like, you got to be 310, 315 to play for Bill. And I think that will help him handle some of those larger guys a little better. He looks like a solid athlete from the games I watched. got out on a couple of screens, looked really nice in space. They did some pin pull stuff with their guards at Washington, got out, looked really nice pulling in space. And when I saw him move in space like that, Ted, it made me think this guy, this guy has the athleticism. He's got the size to play center. So that in my mind, just watching him briefly, I think that may be his best position. Yeah, clearly, you got to be able to consistently snap the football and process everything mentally. But I think he's got the physical capabilities in the run game, good grip strength, good hand placement, finishes blocks really well. Now, I think he'll get more movement initially at the point of attack if he could have a little more weight and a little more strength. But he does do a really nice job of finishing once he's engaged, really strains, which I know that OU staff is a big fan of. And then the last note I have is didn't have to wear knee braces at Washington. That's going to suck for him.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will.
But to me, he looks like a guy that will absolutely be in the mix when it comes to either being a starter or an immediate backup as an interior offensive lineman. I liked what I saw. Now he's gonna have to gain some weight because they're going into the SEC. You can't be playing offensive guard at 300 pounds in the SEC. You just can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, continue to add some good experience. I mean, it's kind of what this group needs. So I don't know. I guess whenever I look at the portal additions on the offensive line, I feel like we got some good solid guys. Like, I don't know that there's necessarily a guy that you plug and play starter, no problem. That guy, you just go ahead and pencil him into the lineup. I don't know if that's the case, but you've added some good depth and some good competition. I mean, there's going to be some really important battles through spring and training camp, I would imagine.
There's no doubt. I completely agree with that. And when you think about how it felt going into the Alamo Bowl, where you knew they were about to lose Walter Rouse after he played in that game. They had lost Caden Green to Missouri. You knew that, Rame didn't play in the Alamo Bowl. You knew he was gone. Matoyer, you knew it was his last game. Guyton didn't play in it. We weren't exactly feeling great about the offensive line situation at that point in time.
Right.
Especially with the Sooners heading into the SEC. But, Ted, I do think that the offensive line, it felt like it could be a glaring weakness or an issue that needed to seriously be addressed maybe in the next portal window. But with these additions, these are guys that have played a lot of football. They've played at big time programs for the most part. And those guys are going to come in and just know how it's supposed to go. Right? They're going to know what the lifts are going to be like, what practice is going to be like. There'll be subtle differences here and there, but they know what playing offensive line at a high level in college is all about.
Yeah.
Can't have too many of those guys. So how have these portal additions on the offensive line, have they completely taken away our concerns? Have they just alleviated them a little bit? Like, where are we at when it comes to thinking about that group? Because I think when you looked at the football team, that was the group just a month ago where you were looking at it going, I don't know about the situation there.
It's interesting because the last 2 years, I rewinded 2 years ago, Coach Venable's first year. And, you have a first rounder as a tackle. Wanye, what'd he go? Was he a third rounder? And, I thought, like, whenever you look at it's like the last two offensive lines. Last year's, I think, was maybe a little more consistent. It's weird. I just don't know if our standard has, like, whenever you kind of look back to like that 2017, 2018, 19 group, and that's what like I'm used to, because the last couple of years there's been a bunch of draft picks. There's going to be 2 first-round draft pick tackles. I mean, and I feel like this past year it was solid. I guess a long way to say that I'm not really worried about it. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know who's going to start, but I just trust that Beanbo's going to get 5 guys out there and they're going to play good, solid football. I mean, we had problems as a football team this past season. Everyone knows that. But I don't think I don't point a whole lot of that to offensive line. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm not too worried about it for the future. I trust the process, I guess.
I feel the exact same way, and I don't know if this is going to make sense or not. As I've watched these portal additions that OU's adding and watched the offensive lines that they were a part of, I continue to think that maybe no one in college football is really, really, really good on the offensive line.
Yeah.
I think that OU these last couple of years are having some issues that everyone else is having for the most part. And the reason that I continue to think that way is just look at the NFL. All you hear about is how poor the NFL offensive line play is, how they can't block the guys on the defensive line. I think there's just a similar problem in college football. The defensive linemen are just getting too big and too good and too athletic. And it's really hard to assemble a group of guys year after year after year that can just go out and dominate the type of athletes you have to block now. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I just think in general, if you're in the SEC, the Big Ten right now, it's hard to assemble an offensive line that's just going to go out there and maul people all game long. It's just really difficult to do.
Well, yes. And I think one of the problems, and again, this is college football wide, is the transfer portal. And it's just this cyclical thing. For example, we brought in 4 portal offensive linemen for now. There may be more coming post spring window, and who knows with what else is going on out there. Like, not to mention, Troy Everett's on there. That's a transfer. Is there any other guys that are transfers? Point is, you keep plugging guys in from other schools. Those guys are leaving. The team's bringing new guys in. You got this musical chair situation of offensive linemen going around, instead of playing juniors and seniors that have come up in the same system, played for the same coach, got their technique and affairs in line, got right in the weight room, got their weight right, have developed and gone on the proper path to turning into really good footballs that are competent and, some maybe not super experienced, but you're experienced in the systems and what you're doing. And now, whenever a couple of guys started transferring, everyone started transferring, and every offensive line in the country is now a patchwork. And that's the thing I worry about is I know we have to go to the portal. I'm not suggesting we don't. I just wonder, are the guys we're getting now, is it taking away from the guys that we've recruited and what they could possibly be. And that's not just an Oklahoma thing. That's a college-wide thing. And I don't know the answer to that. It's just a thought.
No, I think that's, that's something that all of these schools that are adding portal offensive linemen, it's certainly something you have to be concerned about, because you have to break, whether they're bad habits or just different habits. The offensive line coach is going to want the player to do it his way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it works. This isn't the NFL where a guy comes in as a big time free agent and the offensive line coach just says, "Hey man, do it the way you've been doing it. We're good here." That's not how college football works. So yeah, it is interesting, but even the best offensive lines in the country these last couple of years have had transfers.
Yeah.
And the center for Michigan was a transfer. So it is interesting, but the one thing that I know about Beatonbow is it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter whether you're a transfer or not. The best player is going to play. The most consistent player is going to play. Now, that doesn't mean the most talented player is going to play. That doesn't mean the guy with the highest ceiling is going to play. The guy that is most consistent day in and day out in the weight room, on the practice field, will play. He only knows how to do it one way. And that's where I do think that him having that attitude, every guy in that room knowing what's what, there are no secrets with that guy. None. The best players, the most consistent players, you will play. So I'm just, that's where I'm at with it. It's his job to piece it all together. Just got to let the man do his job.
And I'm confident that he will. He's the product is always, it's always quality. So, I mean, all that to say is for like, where do I feel about it for next year? I feel okay.
I will feel better once we see them play a couple games together.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll feel better once I see a couple of spring practices.
Maybe make it worse.
But it is, yeah, or I could feel much worse. We'll see. I do think you think about the football team as a whole, and I know there's still a long way between now and the fall, and there's still another portal window. And you got spring ball, and then the portal window, and then you're off into summer and all of that. But you got a lot of good pieces. Your best players on defense are coming back. We just went through it. We both trust Bill Beatonbow to make all these different pieces along the offensive line. We haven't even talked about some of those young freshmen coming in. Maybe they factor in.
Yeah.
Got a couple guys that were freshmen in the 2023 season. Guy like Josh Bates, maybe he factors in. Heath Ozida, I know that they thought he did some really impressive stuff throughout the season. So we'll see what it looks like. But we both trust Beatonbow to make the pieces fit together on the offensive line. Excited about a lot of the skill guys, especially that wide receiver group. So when you think about all of that, it leads to me wondering, is Jackson Arnold maybe the biggest question mark for this team?
It's Jackson Arnold, and offensively, Jackson Arnold, because the offense is going to go how he goes. I mean, that's how it's going to be. Now, it can, right, as long as he's not awful, I mean, you can work with it, but you got Jackson Arnold. I'm really excited about the possibilities at tight end, but it's still a question mark. We're going to be playing probably a 3-man rotation, and not one of those guys has played a snap here. So, I mean, there's that. But to me, the biggest concern I have is running back. Because last year, in the games we lost, more so Oklahoma State, Kansas, there's so much meat on the bone at the running back spot. And I'm willing to say that Sawchuk kind of picks up where he left off last season, which was much better than where it was early on. But I don't know. I mean, he came up hobbled, it looked like, at the end of that bowl game with the hamstring again. I mean, how much can you rely on that? It's kind of beginning to become a long-term concern. And I know we picked up Franklin as a transfer portal guy, and we got a really highly recruited running back out of the high school recruiting process, but I just don't know. Like, we can't go through another season of ankle pick tackles. It just can't happen. We were middle of the road or below at the running back spot in the Big 12 last year. If we are middle of the road and below in the SEC, it's not going to be good for us. We won't be able to overcome it at other positions.
Yeah. I think that's fair. So we'll see what that running back spot looks like. It will help a whole lot if the offensive line comes together and plays really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
But still,
the biggest thing that's for a young quarterback, like, the better your offensive line is, it's going to pay dividends exponentially for him.
Jackson Arnold's best friend in the 2024 season should be the running game. Could make his life a lot easier.
That's right.
Couple other pieces of OU football news. Ted, in a shocking development, it looks like Drake Stoops is impressing people at the East-West Shrine Bowl, and in an absolute shocker, everyone is going, have you seen this Tyler Guyton guy from Oklahoma down at the Senior Bowl? So it's awesome to see those guys get the amount of praise that they've been getting. And I've had some people text me and say that Rouse is doing some really good things at the East-West Shrine Bowl. I've had some people text me and say that Rame has done some really nice things, especially in the one-on-ones at the Senior Bowl. So these guys are getting noticed, but I've just seen Drake and Guyton all over the timeline. Those one-on-one routes by Drake, those are nasty. Man, I'm not surprised. Guys on OU's defense for the last several years have been telling us he's the best route runner on the team, and woo, he was embarrassing people out there. That was fun.
Putting him in the blender. It's no shock to us, but it's awesome to see him go do it on that stage and make the impression on people that, I don't know where he gets drafted. I'm pretty confident that he does get drafted. I don't know how high, but I still believe that the perfect place is like Kansas City. He is not going to be a good fit for a young quarterback somewhere. He is a good fit for an experienced quarterback that knows, I have to get the ball out of my hand quick. I need guys that can get open quick, that understand everything, understand defenses, can find the hole in the zone quick, run the hot routes, all of those things. And I think he is a good fit at a place that's got a experienced quarterback.
I think you're spot on with that. And I don't know if he's going to end up getting picked. All I know is there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of decision makers in the NFL. They're going to want that guy on their team. And whether that's the 53 or maybe he starts the season on a practice squad. I am not betting against Drake Stoops being on an NFL roster in some form or fashion come August. I'm just not.
Yeah, I think here's the other part of it, man, and this factors in. Fans love him, and teams want to have players that you have to be competent. Of course, you have to be a good player and you have to have the skills, and I think he does. But they want players on their team that their fans like resonate with, and I think Drake Stoops is that kind of guy. So I think he'll make it. I'm thrilled for him.
I'm fired up for him. Tyler Guyton, 6'7", 328, moving the way that he's moving. I really wish he would have come back for one more season, but it would have been the wrong decision.
He's going to end up being a top 10 pick, isn't he?
He definitely has a great chance. We'll see what he does at the combine. I got a feeling he's going to test very well, and that's only going to help him even more. This class is looking pretty stacked at tackle, though.
Yeah.
So it'll just come down to what tackles the teams that have the early picks prefer. He may be OT1 on a couple teams' big boards. I'd be surprised if he's not. But he also may be fourth on some. So you don't know, but I got text after text after text from people that were down in Mobile. And basically they just said, yeah, you were right. You're right about this guy. Well, no duh. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to watch that guy for a couple of reps and go, yeah, he's what you want at offensive tackle in the National Football League.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him.
He's going to be rich.
He tests really well at the combine, and I bet he will.
Yeah. Let's get to call your shot. Asked you guys the most important thing that happened this week for OU football. And I love this one. Comes from Lee_Quentin. Having the most players in the Super Bowl back-to-back years. The former Sooners have done it again, Ted. Let's go.
Yeah, that's impressive. It's Kansas City keeps helping us out in that regard, don't they? But very cool. Awesome to see San Francisco making it in. I also saw, and I don't know how much truth there is to it, but I saw this deal with, it said Oklahoma offensive lineman in the NFL right now, like contract value is like $300 million. And it's more than all Texas players in the NFL combined. I thought that was pretty cool. So doing some good things in the league right now with some Oklahoma guys.
And that doesn't take in account what Creed's next contract is going to look like.
Well, I mean, what do you got? Think of how much you got in quarterback too. I mean, you got almost $100 million a year just in two guys in quarterback, and Kyler and Jalen Hurts. Baker's about to sign probably what, 25, 30 million, just under. So there's some big money out there.
And all these kids care about is NIL dollars. Don't be short-sighted, guys.
That's right.
Go somewhere where you'll be developed and make the big bucks down the line. Patience. Show a little patience. No, I get the guys wanting the NIL money. I get it, but yes. The O-line stuff is, but the Sooners have both all-pro tackles. Both of them.
Not easy to do. That's awesome. And
not easy to good way to put it. Not easy to do.
I don't know what Lane's situation is, but now that Kelsey's retired at center, I mean, Creed's gonna have real good shot to slide into that all-pro position, isn't he?
No doubt about it. He's also, my prediction is his next contract is $100 million. That's my prediction. We'll see. So I think he'll
Hey, the
be,
guy he's snapping the football really likes him, then I think you're probably right.
just keep that interior shirt up and make Mahomes' life easy.
That's right.
That's what they've been doing. They've been doing a good job taking care of their offensive linemen. But we'll see. Let's get to football, guys, talking basketball. But first, Love's Travel Stops is now offering a nationwide 10-cent per gallon discount on gas and auto diesel. Just download the Love's Connect app and scan your barcode at the prompt on screen and watch that price drop 10 cents per gallon. Across the country, the Love's Connect app unlocks exclusive deals can help any traveler plan their route or meal on the highway. So before you hit the road, be sure to download the Love's Connect app to save 10 cents per gallon and experience the country's best highway hospitality at Love's Travel Stops. Love's also has you covered if you forget your phone charger or headphones with their expanded mobile to go zone. And of course, don't forget to grab yourself some of that delicious Java Amore.
Celebrate with Schooner All-American Ale, the official craft beer of OU Athletics from Coop Ale Works. Named after the iconic Sooner schooner that races across Owen Field after an OU score, you can join in on the celebration with an ice-cold beer from Coop Ale Works. You can enjoy it at the Palace on the Prairie, at OU athletic events, at the bar, at the tailgate, and in the comfort of your own home. For more information on Schooner All-American Ale, visit schoonerale.com. Must be 21 to purchase. Please drink responsibly. Schooner All-American Ale, the taste of game day.
And Simple Modern is an Oklahoma-owned company founded by former Sooners. Their mission statement is, "We exist to give generously." And they've given millions away in product and donations to nonprofits all over the state of Oklahoma and all over the United States. Simple Modern is a great company with a great mission, and their products are also the perfect swag for any small business owner. You can customize tumblers, water bottles, and coffee mugs to give to current or potential customers. They will love the quality and how trendy they are. Check them out at simplemodern.com. Football Guys Talking Basketball, FGTB. Let's start with the Sooners. They had lost 2 in a row at home to Texas and Texas Tech. Went on the road Tuesday night in Manhattan, Kansas. 20-point win. On the road, it's easy. It's that easy. They should do this every time.
It's crazy. You know, that's a pivotal game. Now, you drop 2 at home. Texas, like, you know, with what they had, you know, coming into that game, really should have won that game, and you got blown out on your own floor. Tech, you know, blew that lead late. They came back. That was disappointing. Kind of felt like maybe the mentality of the team was kind of hanging in the balance, like pivotal moment, and you go on the road and jump out to a fast start, which I think probably did a lot for their confidence, especially on the road, kind of take the crowd out of it to some degree. You know, hit some really nice shots early. And, you know, I think that's probably one of the biggest factors right now is the confidence has been kind of shaky. And when they had it rolling early, I think that helped them through.
No doubt. This was, I don't think a lot of people would characterize it as an enjoyable basketball game to watch. I suppose if you love fouls and free throws, and more specifically missed free throws, then this was the game for you. But against any team in the Big 12, a 20-point win on their floor, it's a fantastic way to bounce back from 2 tough home losses. And I was really proud of how they responded when that game felt like it was shifting K-State's way.
Mm-hmm.
With about 8 minutes to go, got to hit free throws. I mean, you got to hit free throws, but it felt like things were turning, and the Sooners were able to rip control back and finish strong. And I think my main takeaway from the game for OU is Jalen Moore continues to impress me. Guy is an NBA athlete, and it seems like his confidence is continuing to grow. Now, he needs to be the type of guy he was against K-State each and every night. Right now, you look at his output, it's kind of one night really good, the next night not so good. One night really good, the next night not so good. And he's got to find more consistency because he's shown what he is capable of in several of these Big 12 conference games. They just need him to be that guy all the time.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but he's shown that he's the best athlete on the team.
Yeah.
So I think some of these really nice games he's put together, he's shown that he's capable of being a big time scorer for this team. They just need him to do it more consistently.
Yeah. A little more polish, I think. But the athleticism, it's top tier. Which is awesome because that's one of the things that we've been missing. And if he can just continue to polish that game up a little bit, more consistent, this team, when they put it together and they have a good night, you really feel like they can play and even beat anyone. It's been recently too much up and down. So hopefully they stabilize here a little bit on the road against UCF and then gear up, buddy, because the back half of the conference slate is going to be every game is going to be big. Rivalry or top 25 is basically the rest of your schedule.
Need more to play well and need to see the version of McCollum we saw late in that game against Kansas State.
Yeah.
Running the offense efficiently, blowing by guys, finishing at the rim. He had a couple of nice blow-bys where he's finishing on the wrong foot, laying it up off the glass, just high-level stuff, man. He's got to get going. Very similar to what I said about Moore. McCollum, he's got to be a big-time contributor for him each and every night. Because it's clear, Uzan just has not been the guy I thought he was going to be this season for them, especially in Big 12 play. But if McCollum and Moore can really find a higher level, then this team's capable of beating anyone in the Big 12. Just had their biggest road win since 2015.
It's crazy. Yeah, McCollum, that first quarter of the season or however long it was really before we got into conference play, I mean, there's a lot of people saying he was playing one of the better guards in the country. And, it really tapered off there during that downswing. Hopefully this gets him back confident in that same place again, because you're right. Like where we were, we're ranked to the top 10 and all of that stuff. We are not a top 10 basketball team if McCollum's not playing like we have seen and expect on a night in, night out basis. Like that's where you have to start there for this team. If you want to see them at that level, he's got to be the guy that brings it.
I'm with you. I'm still having a lot more fun watching OU basketball this year.
Oh, there's no doubt.
It's a much more enjoyable product. Even if they miss free throws, it's still more enjoyable than what we've watched the last couple of years. Now, shifting over to the Thunder. Thunder beat the Nuggets Wednesday night, 105-100. Now, no Jokic for Denver, no Jalen Williams, and no Isaiah Joe for the Thunder. But it felt like a big win for this team coming off the back-to-back losses to Portland and Minnesota. And I don't even know what to say about Detroit, not Portland. There were just some bad losses. And the one on Sunday, Jalen Duren just looked like an all-NBA player. And it was it was interesting. That one was maybe the top head scratcher of the year. Them going to Detroit and getting beat by 16. Minnesota, it was a really competitive game, back and forth. Just got outplayed the last 2.5 minutes of the game. Anthony Edwards made some nice plays. Thunder didn't make shots, but it was good to see him bounce back against the Nuggets.
Yeah. I didn't get to see much of the game tonight. Saw a little bit of it. I just, whenever you're at home and you're getting those wins, you just got to keep stockpiling them. I mean, there's going to be those disappointing moments. I feel like, even in the glory days of the Thunder is kind of the same thing. You'd have these big competitive games, and then you like, oh, that's going to be a win. That's going to be a win. And then some unknown guy comes off the bench and has like 45 when none of the stars are playing, and you lose that game. Like, it's weird. I guess it just happens in the NBA. It's strange.
The Thunder can make the Western Conference Finals, and I'll still be like, do you remember when they went to Detroit and got beat that one night? What the hell is that? No, it's a long season, but looking at that win over Denver, it was, I think the best thing that I saw in that game was what Chet Holmgren did offensively late in the game, because he's been disappearing a little bit in some of these games offensively, especially you think about the Minnesota game. When they have played some of these games that appear to have close to playoff level physicality and intensity, he's disappeared a little bit. And even though Jokic wasn't out there on the floor in this one, for him to hit that three with 20 whatever seconds late, that was a massive shot. And early in the game, he wasn't aggressive at all on the offensive end of the floor. Now he's doing a great job blocking shots, altering shots, just being the anchor of that defense. But he had been looking a little worn down lately, and I thought he really turned it on in the fourth quarter offensively and gave him a little bit of a punch that they needed. And that was a massive three. It happened right in front of me. So it was awesome. I was fired up.
Well, I mean, he's a rookie, so I'm sure there's a rookie wall that's coming at some point.
Oh,
right?
he hit it for sure.
Yeah. And, hopefully he gets his second wind at some point. And as long as the playoffs last in the NBA, as long as you can keep winning games, I feel like guys get their legs back during that stretch because there's some more space in between games. What does that matchup look like if it's a playoff matchup, you think? I mean, I know it's like all hands on deck. They're as good as it gets in the league, but does some of the dynamics change in those matchups over a playoff span in your mind? Like, does that make sense? Does it benefit one team or another? Like when they see each other night after night?
I think that you have to lean on the team that has the experience. If they go up against, let's say they win a first round series and then they're playing Minnesota, or you'd much rather play a Minnesota than play a Denver.
Yeah.
Or at least that's just how I view it.
Yeah.
Now, would you rather play the team with Karl Anthony Towns or the team with Jokic?
Take your pick, right?
So now clearly Anthony Edwards is excellent. There's the bigger, more physical teams, especially that have big physical front lines, that they're going to give the Thunder trouble. They just are. But we don't know what this team is capable of, and that's half the fun.
Yeah.
The expectations are getting up there, man.
And they're still young enough that, a lot of these teams, like I think Denver's probably one of them where like they've got a level and they'll crank it up and get there in the playoffs. But I think this team is still so young where no one really knows where that level is, and they're going to continue to improve and build chemistry and, kind of learn more about their players as they go.
I know this. Shea is so good. I mean, he was questionable coming into this game with an illness. No problem. 34, 7, and 5. Looked plenty healthy to me. I mean, guy was flying around on defense. Continues to do a great job being disruptive on that end of the floor. He's so fun to watch. I mean, he's so fun to watch.
You've seen all those guys up close and personal. I mean, KD was KD, but like, where is he on that kind of scale? You know what I'm saying? Like KD, Westbrook, at their heights.
He's so much different than both of those guys, but I'd say he's better at this right now this season. I'd say he's better than Westbrook ever was. Just because Westbrook was not completely dialed in on the defensive end of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And Shea's just a better shooter than Russell was. Durant, that dude was like his MVP season. The thing about Durant, he's just unguardable at the height. Now, Shea is doing a pretty dang good job of being unguardable at his size.
That KD's MVP season, it was like shocking whenever a shot didn't go in. Crucial early game, it didn't matter. It's just that was awesome.
But he is, I mean, he's going to finish in the top 3 of the MVP. We'll see what, the next 2 weeks leading up to the All-Star break, and then post All-Star break, that will clearly be huge for what that looks like for him. But yeah, he is, I mean, he's one of the 5 best players in the league. And maybe he's one of the best 3 players in the league right now. So he is, he's still got a ways to go to be, to accomplish what those guys accomplished over a period of time, but he's well on his way. And the thing about his game, it's not some above the rim super.
It's got lasting power.
Yeah, it feels very sustainable for a very long time. Not saying that he's not an incredible athlete. He obviously is. Nobody can stay in front of him, but it's not something where he's relying on playing above the rim. I mean, he lives in the mid range. He's incredible at drawing contact and finishing, getting to the free throw line. He's starting to shoot that step back 3 with some more confidence. I just think he has the mentality that no one can guard him right now. And it doesn't wow you physically or like the explosiveness. It doesn't wow you. It's just the footwork, the smoothness. It's just completely different than what Westbrook was.
Yeah. He was everything looked like incredible or awful.
I would say Westbrook was like a heavy metal band. Like you knew exactly what you were going to get, right? And Shea's like jazz or something. I don't know. Something smooth.
Right. I mean, you may get Westbrook pulling up out by the half line and dropping a 3, or you might get him pulling up from 3 and hitting it off the square, top of the square, and not getting any rim. Like you never know what you're going to get from him. That's funny.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were hoping that Shea's next step this season would be his 3-point shooting. And it hasn't been awful. It hadn't been great. But it feels like the step he's made this year has been defensively. And give me that over the 3-point shooting. The 3-point shooting's great, but he's really good at a lot of the other stuff on the offensive end of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's getting
Yeah.
his points, he's getting his shots, he's getting to his spots. Him being an extremely disruptive defender and also fitting within the scheme, it's I think that's huge for this team. And that's why after that win over Denver, back into the 2 seed, one game back in Minnesota.
There you go.
One last thought on the Denver game. Micic, solid minutes, man. I see you. Trim the beard a little bit. You trim the beard a little bit. It looks good. He's also just strong. He like plays. He's a little older. He's just
Grown
strong.
man strength.
Got a little old man strength to him,
Mm-hmm.
but he's starting to play some good ball. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first,
All you grill masters, listen up. Didier Ranch delivers premium quality beef that is 100% raised in Oklahoma right to your front door. Go to DidierRanch.com, DIDIER ranch.com to order one of their premium quality beef boxes and use promo code Oklahoma15 for 15% off your order. Filet, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, steak burgers, they got it all, and they ship anywhere in the continental U.S., and Oklahomans can get their deliveries in just 1 to 2 days. The only thing better than having a lot of premium beef on the O-line and D-line is having premium beef delivered right to your front door. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
and head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and ice cold beer. It's the perfect spot to watch any big game. And with all the garage locations being open to 10 p.m. or later every night, it's the go-to late night spot. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
The Swifties, Kansas City Chiefs, make it to the Super Bowl. I We'll get to this in loser, but had Detroit won, I think it would have been the most watched Super Bowl in, I don't know, how modern, 10, 15 years. And it still may be. There's a lot of people invested in this season, but dude, give it up to the Chiefs. Go on the road in Baltimore, jump on them early, lean on their defense. Mahomes was efficient as hell. Kelsey had a big day. The running game was nails for them whenever they had to have it. I mean, they played that's a great win. Going on the road to beat that Baltimore team, that was a great win. That's a rested Baltimore team that they faced. And underdog coming in there, and that was impressive. I got to give hats off to the Kansas City Chiefs.
I tried to tell you, man.
I know it.
Just wasn't betting against Mahomes.
Yeah.
And I didn't think Lamar Jackson was awful, but it was pretty clear who the best quarterback on the field was. Baltimore just made some mistakes. Maybe Justin Tucker shouldn't have gotten Mahomes' way when he was warming up. I don't know why you would poke that bear, but it was impressive. It looked like that stadium was rocking, and the Chiefs handled all the noise. They handled everything like a team that's played in a lot of big games the last several years.
Yeah. They made them earn every single thing that they got.
That Kansas City defense, whew, they had been the strength of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they played particularly well against Buffalo, but they came out and they were fantastic.
They can cover. It just there was nothing easy for Baltimore. They had to earn everything. Just made them snap it again. Keep it in front, rally and tackle, good coverage, force them tough down and distances, make them earn everything. No free plays. Hats off to them. That's one of the more impressive wins. I know the Buffalo win was big time. This one felt like more complete to me. They even, they had an opportunity late to maybe mess the thing up, right? With the fumble, and their defense answered the call.
Speaking of fumbles, how about Zay Flowers' fumble? Ooh.
Brutal.
Only reach it out on 4th down.
Yeah.
A lot of coaches, I'm sure, Monday, or a lot of coaches right when that happened, send a group text to their players. That's why I always tell you, don't reach it out unless it's 4th down.
And he's like, to me, it looks like he's in anyways. He clearly would have been in, right?
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't think I think he could have just run.
Tuck it and finish. That's it. It's easy to say, watching it slow-mo, but you got to play the percentages in those moments, and tough. I hate that for him, and that's how it goes. It comes down to, as the games get tighter and tighter, the competition is more and more intense. It comes down to a couple of plays. It really does. It's wild.
Lamar Jackson's going to win MVP, and everyone's going to go, huh?
Going to feel bad, isn't it? It's just going to feel.
It's just going to. Had an incredible season. Fantastic player, but that position, you are judged by how you play in the playoffs and where you take your team. And he just hadn't gotten over the hump, and I'm not sure how many more opportunities Baltimore's going to have. This was the year.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Did you see the clip of Creed, Barry, and Queen?
That old Cree Humphrey's good at football now, brother.
Oh, that was beautiful. Go ahead, just knock that double team, get the D lineman out of the gap, and then go up and just absolutely, it's just like pulled him in and buried him. That was awesome.
I thought you were about to ask me if I'd seen the Mahomes picture in the locker room that everyone was commenting on. Did you see him tweet about it?
Oh my gosh. What was the original tweet? Was like, the first one I saw was, I don't know who it was, said something like, boy, it makes you really wonder how no one can tackle this guy on the field or something like that.
Hey, I don't care. The guy can play. I don't care what the midsection looks like. Keep doing you, Patrick Mahomes. Anything else about that game?
No, man. Impressive win. Impressive win.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Oh, Detroit. Detroit. I was pulling for them, but when they got up to that lead, it just didn't feel like that's where they should be. It doesn't suit their, like, the going for it on 4th, like, we're not taking the points, we're going to go punch it in for the touchdown. Like, you need the game, you need to be like right there or behind. When you're up, like, even though you've been doing it the whole season, like, you know how it is. Call comes into the huddle and everyone's like, shit, now should we just take the points? Like, it just didn't really fit how they've played all year, and it kind of took them out of their element. And listen, I'm not blaming anyone for it. I like that they continued to play the way that they've played, do the things that they've done. It was just, oh God, it was painful to watch, Gabe. It was painful.
Mistakes, missed opportunities, turnovers, or
Yep.
what should have been an interception turns into a massive play for the 49ers.
It's brutal.
Goes off your helmet. Ugh. Gibbs
It's like,
fumble.
is he going to be known? Is that going to replay like the Jose Canseco, the home run that bounced off his head in right field?
I hope not. No, maybe in Detroit.
Maybe so. Oh, it was horrible. I hated it. And hey, going for it on fourth, I understand it. Not taking the points, I understand it. What I did not understand was when they ran it on third down late. That's not a call. That's a mistake. That was a mistake. It's not like we're going to be aggressive here. It's you're putting the game on one play that you don't need to.
Well, you're essentially ending the game.
Ending it. That's it. Either you score or the game is over in that moment.
The onside kick.
Or you get the onside kick, which
what is it? I think 4%.
Yeah. Because of all the rule changes and everything.
Just throw the ball. Just throw the ball. You got to throw the ball there. You cannot run the ball there. So that was, and I don't know if that was Ben Johnson's call, which, by the way, he's staying in Detroit again. How about that? I don't know if that was him or if it was Campbell or if it was a collaboration. But you can't make that mistake.
No.
You can't call a run there.
Mm-mm.
Just statistically, and you know that they have a good grasp of whatever you want to call it, analytics, math, probabilities, that you just can't run the ball there.
No. You don't need you don't even need analytics. You just need clock. Look at the clock. The most valuable thing that you have at that moment is timeouts. That's it. You got 3 of them and the 2-minute warning, I think, or they were under the 2-minute warning at the time, weren't they? Or no?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. It was like right around a minute, I think. Minute 5, minute 10.
Exactly.
So you just can't do it. Frustrating. I'm not mad. I'm not gonna. They went way above and beyond, and it is going to be more difficult for them in the future, like to some degree. Like they're not going to creep up on anyone, but this is the NFL. You don't creep up on anyone. It's hard to win week in, week out. You can lose every single Sunday to anybody, but they have built that team properly. I mean, watching Penei Sewell get out and run out on the side, man, that dude is incredible. And he doesn't look like an offensive lineman he doesn't look like he should move the way he does. Like some offensive linemen that move, you're like, okay, that guy looks like, he looks like an athlete. He doesn't really look like a guy that moves as well as he does. But point is, they built that team properly, and they got good young skill talent. They got good young players on defense. They can improve in the secondary, but I think Detroit's going to be around.
Brock Purdy's going to play in the Super Bowl.
He is. May win the damn thing.
May win the thing. We'll see. We'll obviously talk about the Super Bowl next week, leading up to the game. I do love the nice breather week for the Super Bowl.
Hey, Baker sliding into the Pro Bowl.
Baker sliding in. What, Jalen's in. Lane, Trent can't. He's got other things to prepare for. So what? Creed had to be a Pro Bowler, right?
Had to be. I mean, I would be shocked.
I don't know who is a Pro Bowler for the Chiefs because they're always playing in the Super Bowl.
I know. Yeah. It's like Pro Bowl. That's a cool thing. Like they don't even know what it is. You don't even get to go.
Losers have to keep going to the Super Bowl every year. Ugh. My wife was trying to decide if we should try and go.
Of course you should. What does that even mean? It's in Las Vegas.
I know it is. We went last year and had an absolute blast. So maybe we'll explore the options. Who knows?
Yeah. Do it.
We'll see. All right, let's finish up with my winner and loser. But first,
elevate your tailgate with Chapel Supply and Equipment in Oklahoma City. Chapel Supply and Equipment has generators and inverters on hand that'll give you all the power you need so you can take your tailgate to the next level. They've also got top-of-the-line heaters to keep you warm during those cold tailgates later in the season. They're Oklahoma-owned and operated. Elevate your tailgate by calling 405-495-1722 or visit chapelsupply.com. That's CHAPPELL supply.com.
And attention business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at Insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
And head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com. Use promo code TED, TED, for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off.
For my winner of the week, any NBA MVP candidate not named Joel Embiid. So who would that be? Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Luka, all one-name guys. How about that?
Yeah.
Because Embiid goes down with the knee injury. It was a weird play. Ball's on the floor. I think it was Kuminga dives for the ball. He's got to miss a game already. We'll see how long he's out. You know, knees can be weird, especially a guy that size. But the other MVP candidates are my winner of the week because I don't know if Embiid's going to play 65 games. Remember, you're required now to play 65 games to win the award. He's hurt. Who knows how quickly he'll be back. They don't want to rush him back. It's just kind of a weird situation. You can only miss 17 games. I think he's already missed 12. He's definitely going to miss a 13th. I don't know. It just seems unlikely that he hits that threshold, man.
Yeah.
Which he's been ridiculously good this year. He's been the best player in the league. But the rule's the rule. Is the rule working? I don't know. I know what they want. I know what they're going for, Ted.
Yeah.
The NBA wants the stars to play. I totally get it. They're tired of all the load management stuff and want the regular season to be more exciting and feel more important to everyone. But if Embiid is just completely dismissed from the MVP conversation because he doesn't hit the 65 game mark, I don't know. It just feels kind of silly.
Yeah. What's that? 20%?
Roughly. Yeah.
I think it's fair. I Here's the thing. The load management stuff has really created this problem. And like, I think everyone would agree that, well, if you miss 17 or 18 games, but it's because you've had some legitimate injuries, then okay, maybe we can overlook it. But the problem is they lie or fib about why they're missing games because of load management, and you just can't do it. If everyone was honest about everything and just said, no, we're resting them, or, and not just holding guys out because they jammed a thumb or whatever they're saying. I don't know. I think the rule is in place for a good reason. And unfortunately, Embiid may be a casualty of it.
I know this. It creates a little drama and it starts a conversation, and the NBA doesn't hate that.
Yeah, I agree.
And remember, the rule also applies to all NBA as well. And with all the incentives, those max extensions that are tied to making all NBA.
That's right.
I mean,
that's
you
what
saw
you want, though.
Tyrese Halliburton talks about how stupid he thinks the rule is. It's dumb. He also has like 40 something $million on the line. And he's already missed a lot of games. I think he can only miss 3 or 4 more. So, yeah. Is the rule working? I think so. But there are going to be some guys that get left off some of this stuff, and it's going to feel a little weird, but I suppose we'll get used to it.
Well, I'll say this. It will not feel weird to me at all. Okay. I'll manage just fine.
Is there going to be some other list? The honorable mentions, if they would have played enough games list?
Yeah, that's it. It's like the
65 games and under all NBA.
Like the NIT all NBA team, right? It's funny.
Yeah, but if Embiid doesn't make it to 65 games, Shea
out, yeah.
Shea, it bumps him up the list, baby. All right, for my loser of the week. Ted, in a shocking development, the NCAA has been sued again. The old NCAA, the loser of the week. The attorneys general of Tennessee and Virginia have filed a lawsuit against the NCAA, basically saying that these athletes aren't employees. So it's illegal and dumb that the NCAA doesn't want athletes to consider what NIL opportunities there are if they attend a certain institution. So from what I understand, but boiling this down to plain language that's easy for me to understand, is that a school and a collective should be able to give its NIL pitch because it's a big part of recruiting these athletes that are not employees. So you can't restrict the recruiting pitch for people that aren't employees. And this comes on the heels of multiple reports saying the NCAA is investigating Tennessee for its collective flying Nico Iamaleava on a private jet to a recruiting trip, which, well done, Tennessee. Impressive. There's a lot going on here, Ted. We got lawsuits. We got private jets. The Wild Wild West of NIL, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Tennessee is right. I don't know. There's just so many different rules. There's high school kids that are getting NIL deals whenever they're still in high school. So I how is that not? I guess I just don't understand it. I mean, Tennessee makes a point. The point is pretty clear, in my opinion. If people are making NIL pitches, then it's going to be a part of recruiting. That's just how it goes. I mean, you can't take that factor out. It's already there. I mean, they're gonna factor it in. So I don't know. It seems like a stupid argument by the NCAA, and it feels like they're randomly selecting teams to go after, doesn't it?
It does feel a bit random.
Because I don't know. I guess I don't know all of the details.
I don't know how many teams have flown a guy private for a recruiting event. I would assume that number is very, very, very small because flying private is very expensive. But here's what I think. And I don't even know what the rule is anymore. I'm not sure anyone knows what the rule is. There's so many different rules. Yeah, there's so many different rules in different states. Then you got the different high school rules in different states. I don't know. I don't know what the rule is anymore. But here's my idea. And I think it makes all the sense in the world. Every official visitor to a campus, every official visitor and their family should be allowed to have a meeting with the coaches if they want to be in there and the collective connected to the program as part of their official visit weekend. Like, it's just part of the schedule. And that's where you sit down and you say, this is what it looks like. This is what we are offering you. We all know that this is a massive, massive part of these recruits' decision-making already. Why not just give everyone in the room and their family, and they can hear the pitch and get the realistic picture of what it looks like for them if they come there? It seems very logical to just do it that way.
Yeah, it does. You have two things, like you've got these two paths have really diverged. College football is no longer amateur athletics. And maybe it hadn't been for a while. So the NCAA, like, their mandate is to try and maintain that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we've split. And
well, I think their mandate now is to try to stay relevant and to keep their jobs.
Right. I mean,
but
I guess what I'm saying is, like, we've split and, like, they're no longer even needed.
No. And that's
so and you're starting to hear it from pretty much everyone now. And everyone's like, it started off as, we need guardrails and we should do this, and then I think we should do that, and now everyone's starting to sing the same tune about what should happen and what's likely going to happen. Players are going to become employees. You're going to have the top level of Division I, 64 teams or whatever number they decide on. They're going to have one TV contract. It's like, it's going to be NFL like. I don't know what the time frame on that is, but that's where it's going. The more the NCAA hunts and picks teams to go after, the quicker it probably gets here.
Well, I mean, how many lawsuits do they have going on right now?
Well, it's the smart thing to do. Never, ever take what the NCAA has handed you. Never. Just throw lawyers at it. Just do what Kansas did. right? And it somehow has disappeared. Is that even still a thing? Is it still going on? You know,
No,
it's, like, it's gone. Got caught paying players when it was illegal, right? And no, we're not. We disagree. We're just going to keep playing basketball. I
I
think Tennessee's doing the right thing.
my only other thought on the situation is this. I don't think all of a sudden a bunch of schools are going to start flying a bunch of recruits around in private jets to their campus because that just adds up very, very, very quickly. Now, maybe you do it with quarterbacks, maybe, but if you fly the guy on a private jet in and you meet with him and you offer him something, and a school offers him a lot more money than you, and they don't fly him on a private jet, guess where he's going? He's going to the school that gives him more money. Doesn't care about your jet.
Yeah, the private jet is good for only the flight is all it's good for.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm just we'll see where this goes, but whether this is the NCAA trying to hold on to any power they still have, the Supreme Court has already told them if they feel like it violates the antitrust law, they're going to lose. They're not employees. So I really like Tennessee's chances here. We'll see, but the NCAA just keeps getting sued left and right.
They're going to be spread pretty thin before long.
I still think whatever college football, whatever it's going to look like moving forward, I think that big shift is coming sooner rather than later.
Yeah. It feels like it. I mean, there's enough people now. I feel like you feel like you've passed the point of reaching critical mass.
When is the college football playoff TV deal up? After the 2025 year?
Is that right? Yeah. I think there's 2 years. Everyone was saying that we'll kind of feel it out, right? And then see where we want to go after that to make it permanent or whatever. So I think that's right.
That feels like a logical shifting point.
Yep.
We'll see.
I think you carve out football's probably going to be carved out, and all the other sports are going to play conferences.
We'll see. We know this. OU's going to be part of the cool kids club, so it doesn't matter. Not worried about it.
Content, baby.
Yeah, baby. Birthday shout outs. Happy 17th birthday to Jace Crawford.
Happy 25th birthday to Haley Cook.
Happy 26th birthday to Caitlin Cook.
Happy 30th birthday to Andre the Giant.
No. The request was Andre the Gant. The Ganked.
Oh, okay.
There's got to be a joke here, right? Brandon Powell, happy birthday. Happy 30th birthday to Andre the Gaint Brandon Powell.
Okay. Sorry about that. I butchered it.
Well, you just thought I had a typo. That's why I put not giant in parentheses.
I know. After I read Andre the Giant, I was like, not giant? What?
Happy 32nd birthday to Chase Costner.
Happy 33rd birthday to Brady Mason.
Happy 37th birthday to Bad Brad Manning.
Happy 55th birthday to Tom Bates.
Happy birthday to Trey. I definitely spelled that wrong. What do we think that was supposed to be? Trave Pete Lewis. I'm sorry, man. I definitely messed that up. Travis Pete Lewis. Trave Pete Lewis. Dang it. I'm sorry. Pete Lewis. Love you.
Happy birthday to Kyle Sourjohn.
On that note, episode 392 Won't lie. Very jet lagged right now and kind of feel like I'm still on a boat. It's been a very weird feeling this entire. So if I sounded really weird this one, I'm sorry, but powered through. Feeling
Hey,
a little odd right now.
We're old now. It's been a while since we've done a podcast at 11:30.
This is why we're recording the mornings now. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, you can hear Teddy on from 3 to 6 on the ref. You can hear me on Sirius XM Big 12 Radio, channel 375. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. And until next time, we appreciate you all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.